Good morning, dear friends. Welcome. Please join me in turning off your great distractor. Well, it's my great delight to be sitting here and to have you here, and also to have my dear friend Richard Lang with us this morning. Richard has come from England to do this, and then tomorrow he's going on to Hawaii to do a similar sort of thing. So great distances he has come to share with us the Headless Way, the work of Douglas Harding, and his own marvelous developing of that over time. So we're going to begin with a little meditation, and then I will release the morning to Richard. Anybody who's here for the first time? Please. 1, 2 people. Oh, not very many. Great. Well, welcome. I hope this is a revolutionary moment in your life that completely transforms everything into that suffering goes away and you are a fountain of generosity, ease, and compassion henceforth. At least I hope it's a good time. Hope you don't think, I should have gone to brunch after all. I had this great invitation, I went to meditate instead. So refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha, ancient practice from the Buddhist world. Just a few words about that for those of you that are new. The Buddha wasn't a Buddhist and he didn't teach Buddhism. He was a human being who was suffering and found a way to reduce and eliminate that suffering. And he discovered that that freedom came through developing a quality of consciousness which was awake. And so when we say I take refuge in the Buddha, it means, in today's parlance, I take refuge in headlessness. I take refuge in that which knows, that which is alert and awake. And then the Dharma, with that awakeness, with that which knows, my aspiration is to see how things really are. So this really isn't a self-improvement process. The self does improve over time with meditation, but that's not the goal. The goal is a radical realization of who and what we really are. And wonderful side benefits along the way. And then Sangha is the community of practice. And actually, I like to take it bigger than that. It's actually the community of all life. So that I sit here with the intention of being awake, to see how things really are, and that I do it with all of life. This mysterious, magical thing that happens in this moment all over the planet, and perhaps elsewhere. So there's the ancient way of doing this, and then there's the kind of modern way, which we're going to do now. So it's singing, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And please join in as it makes sense to you. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Dharma, I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. Sangha, I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. And once more, because it's so beautiful, I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. So, we get a chance to do nothing. To just stop, to sit, to breathe. To be aware of what's happening. If your eyes are open, please be aware of seeing. If they're closed, please be aware of not seeing. And there's something utterly mysterious happening here, as always. This remarkable capacity of awareness exists. And it's not something we do, it simply is. But the Buddha discovered and then developed practices that we can cultivate more moments, or we can manifest in our life stream more moments of awakeness, of awareness. And we can somehow also direct awareness. For instance, notice that your body is sitting here. Notice that it's touching the cushion or the chair, the floor. Notice that there's life in your hands. And if you pay attention, I think you'll discover that you don't feel hands. Awareness meets life. And there's no possible accurate descriptor. We could say warmth, cool, tingling, vibrating, etc. But what truly we experience is life. So there's awareness and there's life. And everywhere that you choose to direct awareness in the body, for instance, the left foot or the left cheek. Awareness awakens to life. This voice, these sounds, appear spontaneously in consciousness. They come out of nowhere, then they're gone. And there are certain qualities of consciousness, of presence that can be cultivated, certain capacities. Among them are this awakeness, but also some capacity to concentrate, to focus the mind. And for that, it's helpful to have a home base for which we can use the sensations of breathing. Ever since you were born and you took that first fateful breath, there's been the metronome of your life, this in your heart. Breathing in, breathing out. And this breathing occurs in only one moment, which is this moment, now. So in order to practice being here now, we can attend to breathing in and out. And notice that each breath has a beginning, a lifetime, and then an ending. You probably quickly notice also that the mind really has a mind of its own, and it goes off wandering. It goes into problem solving and memory and plans and fears and emotions. It wanders. Most mysteriously, that which knows, that which is awake, will quite suddenly become aware of the wandering mind. It will be noticed. It's a moment of the Buddha, of wakefulness. And in that moment, there's the opportunity, if you wish, to come back to the breath. To cultivate that point of stability. It's kind of like a handrail on stairs. Come home to the actual sensations of breathing in and breathing out. No violence, no urgency. the single most common misunderstanding people have that causes them great distress over long periods of time is the notion that to meditate means to stop the mind. And so this is the beginning of a great war, a great battle, an unnecessary battle. We take refuge in that which is awake, that which knows. It's that which awakens. And that which awakens is vastly more powerful than any other force in the universe. So we'll spend a few minutes sitting quietly. Come home to the actual sensation of your body breathing. When awareness awakens to the wandering, come home gently. And acknowledging and receiving anything and everything else that occurs, without any distinction. Each breath has a beginning. It appears out of nowhere. The chest and abdomen expand until they don't anymore. And then there's a contraction or falling, and then it ends. This paradigm of beginning and ending pertains to everything that is this side of the Big Bang, or the Great Flash. Every experience of our life follows this paradigm. Beginning, mysteriously existing, ending. Practicing like this trains us to surf on this wave that is called life. How to really accept and acknowledge and see the beginnings and endings It's at the beginnings that we have some influence over our destiny. This is beginning, how shall I shape it? How shall I participate fully in this life? And please now notice that there's a body sitting here. There's this mass of sensations of life. There are the hands and the feet and the legs. The torso with the pubic bone and abdomen and chest and back and sides. Fingers and thumbs and hands and forearms and elbows and upper arms. Of course, we don't experience any of these things. We experience instead life. Then there's the neck, and the jaw, and the cheeks, the lips. Maybe take a moment to let your lips meet one another and then part. And then the nose and the eyes and the forehead, scalp. Feel the life in your eyes. More accurately would be allow awareness to awaken in the sensations in that place of the universe that you've been conditioned to think of as my eyes. It's a little long-winded. The experience is just this, life. And then notice that in the mind, a prompted intention can arise. This voice is going to do it in a moment. To allow the eyes to open. They don't open on their own. They open only because of consciousness and intention. And then let that intention operationalize itself to let the eyes open. And then notice seeing. Just seeing. It doesn't have to have the story, I'm seeing, it can just be seeing. Seeing. objects. And take a moment to notice the mood that's present, or the energy state. Even a short meditation like this has often a huge impact on the stress level. The body reacts powerfully. And let yourself notice your body. Would it like to move a little bit, and then let it do this movement, but let it do this movement within that which is aware, within the field of awareness. Being mindful of the movement would be a popular way of saying it. A stretch. So what we're going to do from here is I'm going to ask Avi to come up and do the announcements, and then I will introduce Richard. And I realized I forgot something very important. Hello. Hi, friends out on the internet. It's a warm spot in here for you. And wish you were here. Glad you're here in this fashion. So, Avi, you want to come and do the... This is Avi Klepper, our community coordinator, man of many skills, our warm-hearted host.
Thank you, Robert. Good morning, Sangha. This is a little different. It's that whole damned impermanence thing. But hey, I'll deal with it. Announcements. We have a talent night and show and tell coming up next week on the 24th. You don't need any talent, just show up, do something. You can do anything as long as it's about you, because people want to know who you are. That's going to be 7 to 10 p.m. I would imagine Kirsten is coordinating this, and I would imagine, would it be useful if you knew who planned on being here? She doesn't care, so just show up. We're that way here. On Saturday, March 2nd, Sangha member Jim Cassidy. Jim, are you around? Ah, okay, all right. One of his fans. He has spent his own money and a considerable amount of time and effort creating a documentary called A Most Convenient Convergence, which he is going to world premiere here at PIMC, and that's going to be on Saturday. No, I think that's Friday, March 2nd. And that's going to be 7 to 9 p.m., $5 at the door. And he is basically following up on Al Gore's movie, An Inconvenient Truth, where he is talking about all the amazing, powerful solutions that technology has started to afford us in the last 10 years in terms of reducing global warming. So that would be a really special thing to show up at. We want you to save the date. Robert and Doug are doing a day-long workshop on love and compassion practices. And that is going to be, interesting. On my printout, the date got messed up. I think
April something.
Yeah, it's actually Saturday, April 14th. And it's going to be 9 to 4 p.m. It's not on the website yet, but it will be. Then other miscellaneae. Who is doing Dharma consults? Anyone? Dharma consults? Jim is doing Dharma consults. What is a Dharma consult, you ask? Well, if you have a practice and something has come up for you in your practice and you'd like to talk with an experienced practitioner for a little while to figure it out, Jim would be happy to help you to do that. If you do not have a practice yet and you want to get a quick on-ramp to having a practice, Jim can help you to do that. There's sign-up sheets there by the door. He's got 3 slots open, 20 minutes each, starting at around 12:10. Let's see. Hospitality. Yes. After Richard is done talking, come and join us for tea and snacks and coffee and stuff and get to know your fellow Sangha members. We're really delightful people and we love to talk with one another, and it's just a really nice time. Did you mention Donna?
Donna who?
No. That's what I started asking when I first came here.
No, I didn't.
Apparently not. So we run on all kinds of energy. We run on the energy of your presence, but we also run on money, which is Dana. We have a Dana bowl back there. We also have a credit card swipe thing. We are an open Buddhist community. Anyone who shows up, anyone who even expresses an interest, is considered a member of this Sangha. And in order to keep the lights on, in order to keep providing programs for you, unfortunately, we need money. So please drop whatever you can in the Dana Bowl, and we would appreciate it. We also run on volunteer energy, too, because there are all kinds of things that need to get done. But as Robert likes to remind me and other people who work here a lot, it is not about getting things done. It is about the joy of being with members of your spiritual community and getting to know them, because that is why we are all here. That is what the practice is all about. So if you want to find out how to engage with this community at a deeper level and get to know people, Kirsten who is our volunteer coordinator, would be happy to help you with that. Or if she's not around or she's busy, you can ask me. Let's see. I'm continuing to look for somebody who lives up in Vancouver who can give Peter, who lives up there, a ride here, who can do a ride share on a regular basis. And if you live up in Vancouver and you're open to a ride share and you come down here, please come and see me. Let's see. We are seeking a Sangha member who is a lawyer who knows something about contracts. We would love somebody who's familiar with that kind of thing to review our rental contracts, because we have professionals in some office space down there. It's been a while since those have been looked at. If you have that skill set, see me, please. Also want to mention, as I do every week, there are 5 weekly sits each week. So there's 2 on Sunday, 2 on Tuesday, and we also have 1 on Thursday. And so this is sort of like the mothership of all of our sits. You know, it's like the big crowd, the big energy. But if you also like something a bit more intimate, those 5 are pretty intimate and quiet, and it's a great way also to engage with this community. Something that is not so obvious that you might not know about if you're relatively new here, we have something called KM, or Spiritual Friends Groups. These are groups that meet on their own in various neighborhoods around the Portland area, and I think we might even have one up in Vancouver, somewhere up there in Washington. And they just get together at one another's homes, they do Dharma talks, they do meditation sessions, or they just talk with one another. If you're interested in being connected with that kind of a group where you can meet sort of outside of PIMC, I can hook you up with that, or if you'd be interested even in starting one. We're always interested in having more of those. And then, let's see, second to last thing, our pet project is the Transitions Project, donation project. We've got that really beautiful trunk over there. For years, one of our Sangha members, Michael, has been taking stuff that is donated there, like anything that you don't need. Homeless folks at the transition shelter can use it, and this helps them get their lives on track. If you have stuff like that you don't need, that you want to pay forward, please bring it over here. We pile it for a while, and then Michael takes it. It does a lot of good. And then the final thing is that Richard has his books on sale. These guys, Celebrating Who We Are, and that is $15. If you're interested in one of these, please come and see me. There is one other book, and this is a freebie. You might remember that Kevin Griffin was supposed to do a workshop here. He came here and he immediately got sick and had to go home. And we're waiting for him to tell us when he can come back up here. But he sent us a box of his books, his latest book, Living Kindness, with the expressed intention that he would love to see these books distributed to members of the community that care about his work, that had wanted to attend the workshop. He doesn't even care that anything is paid for them. I mean, if you want to donate something, that's fine. But if you'd like a copy of his book, please come and see me after. Thank you very much for your presence. Have a blessed day.
Avi, may I have one of the book that you just, there we go. Living Kindness, Buddhist Teachings for a Troubled World. This is a marvelous example of dana, generosity. And I wanted to say just a moment more about dana. There's this experience that we have that's very supported in modernity, particularly in our frightened culture, that, see, this is a dead battery. Feel what happens in you when I say this. This is mine. I mean, not only does it make me look stupid, but there's a big barrier, isn't there? Contrast that with, which is silly with a dead battery, but this is ours. In fact, it's yours. Get rid of it, someone. But it's that quality of opening and giving that is the nature of dana. And one of the ways that you can support this community, we have online donations, and you can do a monthly pledge kind of thing, and you can put money in the dana bowl. And there's so many ways. And on the one hand, one does that to support the community, but most fundamentally, one does that in order to release the anguish of that frightened holding on. It's all about that. So it's a practice of freedom. And we happen to have this strange agreement we do about these pieces of paper that are valuable. I once had a $100 bill in the forest with my kids camping, and we had a great lesson. It's like, what is this useful for? It's with it, you can guess where it went. The one place it could be really useful was toilet functions. It was because it wasn't good for burning. It didn't burn we didn't burn it, but anyway. So we have this way that we can support the things that we value in a financial sense, and that's part of how we keep things running. And the other is a request. You can support this community by writing a review on Yelp or Google or Facebook. It's helpful. So now I get to do the really fun part. This guy over here is really funny and fun, and we're a little dangerous together, I think, just a trifle. But he lives so beautifully in the present moment, and he perceives things very much. This is happening now, and so it's very entertaining to be with him, as I'm sure you'll experience. And that capacity of living in the present also could be called love. And he had a relationship for almost 40 years with Douglas Harding, who was this great consciousness explorer who really created the notion of the Headless Way. And so we're really fortunate to have you, Richard, and I want you to come on up here, and I'll hook you up with the microphone, and you got it. You have the bridge, sir. I'll give you this, yeah. I guess just settle down.
Right, we're going to the Bahamas.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Let me see one more thing.
Yes.
Here, I'll get close to you. Hi there, Richard. Richard led us yesterday.
We were practicing this all morning.
Hi, Richard. Richard led us in a beautiful day here yesterday where we did Headless Way practices, and then we danced headlessly for a couple of hours last night. This place can rock.
Thank you, Robert. Wired for sound, something.
Excuse me.
Anything for attention, isn't it? Well, lovely to be here and have all your faces in my no face. And Robert was mentioning one's true nature, who one really is. And my pleasure is to share that with you using the jargon or the techniques or experiments, we call them, of the Headless Way. And the experience, in my experience, the experience of our true nature is mysterious and wonderful and ordinary and kind of neutral in a way, non-verbal. So obviously I'm using words, but the experience is so simple and infectious in a way. We had a baby in the workshop yesterday all day, broadcasting openness without trying. So I'd like you to notice something about yourself, your true nature. And I want you to have your eyes open just at this moment. And be aware you cannot see your own face. You can see mine, but you can't see yours. Now, I can't see mine, but I can see yours. I am trading Richard's face for 100 faces. That's how I think about it. To bring our attention and keep our attention on this very simple perspective that you're looking out of open space, clear, open space. I want you to do a very simple experiment with me. Attention. And I want you to hold your hands out in front of you and just look at them, you see? And between them you can see various things. And then I want you to slowly bring them towards you, past either side of your head. But notice from your point of view they get bigger and bigger, and then they begin to disappear. And your fingers disappear, your hands disappear, all the way probably to your wrist. And I say, I've just put my hands in the great void. See? And then I bring them forwards and they emerge magically out of this still, light, weightless, open space. I call this looking out of my single eye. This is the difference between what one looks like to others at a distance, two-eyed, with a head, with a background, and what one looks like to oneself at zero distance. I, for myself, privately, cannot see my face. Just open space full of everything. Now, what I mean by the single eye is the space you're looking out of, your true nature, which is undivided, boundless. And here's a very simple way of drawing our attention to it. You want to play? Hold your hands out like this. You see, like glasses, put the fingers together. You see two holes with a dividing line. Now I want you to put them on and notice what happens to the dividing line. And you put them right on, and the two become one. No dividing line. Magic. Take your hands and just see where they disappear, all the way around your single eye. It's not actually an eye, it's a hole or an opening or, I don't know. It's in your hands. Now, the difference between the outside and the inside is huge. You see others just going around the head, but your hands are huge and they go around the whole universe. Because everything's in this awareness. I think the single eye is beautiful. Beautiful. See, it's got no boundary. It goes on forever. It's clear. Here's another way of directing our attention, with eyes open at the moment, to this mystery, this openness, this weightlessness, this clarity. We're just going to point at it. And we start by pointing out, and then we point closer, and then we turn the direction of our attention around 180 degrees to the place we're looking out of. So point at the floor in front of you and just look. See, attention. You see the colours and shapes. It's a thing. Now point at your knee. Again, colours and shapes, it's a thing. Point at your torso. Colours and shapes, movement. Now hold your hand out and point back at the place you're looking out of. This is a unique place. I find no colours, no shapes, no movement. Now I want you to point with the other hand out like this. This is two-way pointing, two-way attention. This indicates this open space isn't just empty, it's also full. Full now of this situation. The room, sounds. And it indicates something that is incredible. That there's no dividing line between the nothing and the something. This is a non-verbal experience. I am using words, but I am completely confident you've got the same basic experience as me, because it is so simple. You can't see your head. See, instead you see the world. You can't get that wrong. It is true for everyone. In this sense, we're all completely equal, if I can put it like that. I can't see my no-head more clearly or less clearly than you now, because there's nothing there to see better or worse. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah. It is true. Meditation, attention, not only to what you're looking at, but to the place you're looking out of. This needs and can have no outside confirmation, really. It is a private experience. It's kind of secret. Because everyone else can see your face, you see, your character, the person you are in the play. Everyone else can see that. And you know that. You're an adult. You know you appear. You see the one as the one in the mirror. But privately now, you're aware you are this one consciousness that includes everything. So safe, so light, so creative. I say it's just coming up with this moment without knowing how, you see. So that's amazing, isn't it? You're the one eye, one consciousness, no name on it. See? Yet you're appearing as a person. This makes sense, by the way. You say, well, Richard, you're not the one. I can see you're a person. I say, well, you're over there, 20 feet away, looking at me. So you see my appearance at that range. But you come up to me with the right instruments and with an open mind and see what happens. You see, and I get bigger, and then you lose my feet, you see, and you lose my torso and just get my face if you're up here. And you come closer with the right instruments and you get a patch of skin and cells. And then you come closer and you get molecules and atoms. And by the time you're there, you have nearly disappeared. I am Richard, but about 20 feet away. And further away, I'm the planet. If you look at me from the moon, I'm the planet. I have a planetary face, so do you. See? One is this. You see, come as close as you can, I'm almost nothing. I am at zero distance. And I say, I am nothing and everything. Makes sense, you see. And of course, I'm in this condition, you're in this wonderful condition. Blessed condition. Where now, as you're aware of this openness, everything's in you. All the people around you are in you literally. From the inside, you see. From the inside, I'm not in this room is in me. 1 wall, 2 wall, 3 wall, no wall. Gone. Ceiling disappears into nothing. See, it's the same for us all. I am not in this room. This room is in me, and I say, you're in the same blessed condition. You're not in this room privately. This room is in you. And this has fantastic implications. I say, well, of course, I understand growing up. As a baby, I'm headless. I have no idea what I look like. I am the one without thinking about it. And growing up is learning language and learning to understand what people are telling me about the world and about me. And they say, we can see you. I can't. I say, look in the mirror, that's you. Oh, really? That's over there. That's me. I'm here, you see. No, but trust us. That face there is on these shoulders. If you want to join in the game, put it on. See, okay. Childhood is learning which face is yours. Well, I want to be a lion. I am a lion. No, you're not. See. So it's the process of reaching into the mirror and taking that face and flipping it round and making it bigger and putting it on and learning that that sensation is your mouth. Pay attention to the sensation of your mouth now. Can you see it? No. Do you know how big it is? Really? You do? I don't. It could be as wide as a room. See? Well, that's what it looks like. You need to know that that's what it looks like so you know where to put your food. Right? Oh, okay, it's very useful. So as children, we are learning to clothe the nothingness in a form, in a way, and act as if that is you. You need to do that. And accept that others are in the same condition, that you're feeling and thinking and so on. Third stage of the adult is profound conviction. I am what I look like. Yeah, I am the one in the mirror. Now, you see, the infant looks in the mirror and wonders who that is. The adult looks in the mirror and, without a second thought, says, that's me. You answer to your name, that's me. Profoundly concerned with that one, of course, see. But in that third stage, where we all know that very well, I am what I look like. I am Richard. You are what you look like. And the idea of being headless and the one is dismissed as rubbish. You're not the one. Come on. You've been watching The Matrix. You see. So the third stage, we're in profound denial of our true nature. But the fourth stage is reawakening to our true nature. This wonderful openness, headless, single eye, still, light, full, see, rich beyond belief, rich beyond your wildest dreams, full of everything. It's awakening to this which is so available. See, it's not hidden. But at the same time now being aware that you appear as a person in the world, which the baby in the first stage you didn't know. So the fourth stage is not trying to deny one's individual presence in the world. It actually celebrates it as an expression of the one. And now, you see, when you look out, in the third stage, you see yourself as face to face with others, separate from them, literally. Because you're seeing yourself from outside, and from outside you are separate from others. So you respond in that way, of course. But when you see your open space now that you're looking out of, see, you can't see your head now. Now you see, for me privately, I've no face. So when I look at others, it's face to no face. Wow, there's no separation. One face, see, given in my no face. That is too complicated a way of saying it. It's just non-verbal experience. See, I have your face now instead of my own. I am you. I am space for you. And there's nothing in the way to keep you out. Whether I like it or not, I am built open, so are you. So all the animals and insects and everything, built open. So now when you meet another, you enjoy having their face, you see. And this is love. The space doesn't judge. The space can't keep others out. The space has its arms around the whole world. You have your arms around the whole world. You are glorious, see. The one you look like is limited and will die, and is, but the one you are is never born, never die. No time. Rich, creative, available, whatever your mood, not dependent on what you feel. Now this is magic. Who you are is magic. So, watch. Here's a magic trick you can perform immediately. I'm going to make the room disappear. Watch. Now I'm going to make it reappear. All right? Pay attention. You're looking out of this open single eye. All these colors and shapes right here where you are. There's no distance, you see. Now close your eyes. It's gone. It's gone. Now open your eyes. You have now passed the test of wizardry. You are all expert wizards. So, how are we doing? Good? Oh, yeah. This is a journey of rediscovering the obvious, rediscovering who you are. See? So, I'd like you to follow with me this little journey of attention. See? It's like going back to school, but very, very simple. I want you to look at me. For about 10 minutes. No, look at me and notice that you can compare the size of me with anything else. Like I'm, a bit bigger than the guitar, bigger than the dead battery, see? But smaller than the wall. Any two things you look at in the room, you can compare for size. So just look around and one is bigger, smaller, or about the same size. Very simple, all right? Now I want you to look at the whole view, the single eye, which is the space and what's in it. It's single, you see. Single. How big is it? Well, there isn't a second one on the left or the right to compare it with. I can't say mine's bigger than yours. I can't see yours. I hear about it, but I only experience directly one eye. Do you? Can you say how big it is? You can't say how. This is, there's one thing in the universe, you can't say how big it is. It's single. It's alone, incomparable. The one is incomparable. There's nothing to compare the one with. See? You are the one. So you're just checking that out. Is there another view to compare with? No. Can't say how big it is. Now look at at me again, or the guitar, and you'll see the guitar's got a boundary, an edge. And so there's something on the inside of that edge, the guitar, and there's something on the outside, the carpet or the wall behind it. Anything you look at has a boundary and something around it. It's inside a bigger picture. See? Now look at the whole view. Is it inside a bigger picture? It disappears into nothing, it's not inside anything. Is that true? I'm talking about a non-verbal experience, so you may use different words. It doesn't matter, you've got the experience. I say, it just kind of fades out. It's really weird. It fades out to nothing. Impossible, but true. See? Now, this is true whether you've got your eyes open or closed. Who you really are isn't dependent on seeing or something. Close your eyes and you're aware of a kind of darkness, I suppose, with specks of light. How big is that darkness? Well, there isn't a second one to compare it with. It's single. Now, is it inside something bigger? Kind of floating in nothing. Now, open your eyes. I remind you of the two-way gesture, this one. Face to no face, color to no color, movement to stillness, the darkness to the emptiness. Yeah? No dividing line, just a way of thinking about it. Close your eyes again. See, what changes is the view out. But the view into the nothing doesn't change. Open your eyes, view out changes radically. But the view in, nothing here to change. Close your eyes. See? Awareness doesn't change. What's in awareness changes. Now be aware of sounds. Coming and going. Some are loud, some are soft. Some are human voice or door banging or mechanical sound, different kinds. How big is the whole field of sound? Well, there isn't a second one to compare it with. Single. Incomparable. And is it inside something bigger? Not in my experience. Or I suppose you could say it's in silence, in consciousness. So now open your eyes. You're still hearing the sounds. One field of sound. One view, one field of sound. Who one really is, in a sense, is alone. This is true and peaceful. Close your eyes. We're checking out our own experience. And I'm suggesting you're the one. See, the one consciousness. So be aware of body sensations and different sensations changing. How big is the whole field of sensation? Well, there isn't a second one to compare it with. Is it inside something bigger? Not in my experience. So we identify with our body sensations. So if I say, I can't say how big this field of sensation is, I could also say, I can't say how big I am. And be aware of thoughts and feelings. What you're thinking, just be aware of that stream of thinking and feeling, maybe a memory of what you had for breakfast, or a problem you've got, or just random thoughts. How big is that whole field of thinking? I can't say. Is it inside anything? I find these thoughts and feelings just arising out of nowhere, out of consciousness, if you like, disappearing again. Now open your eyes. So be aware of your thoughts and feelings. I say they are there, and here is no thought or feeling. Thoughts and feelings going on in the space, in the room in a way, like my sensations. So I look from this no mind into my mind, into the world, into these sensations. So, this experience is utterly simple. It's the way it's given. It's paying attention to the way you are. You're built open for the world. And I say now that we are sharing this, if I can put it like that. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're feeling. But I know who is thinking and feeling. And now I can communicate that with you in very simple ways, which I think you'll understand. See, if I go like this, you see, I think you know now I'm bringing attention to my headless open space here. If I it's so simple, yes. Move it, bring your hands just back in, play, see? Disappear. Wow, huge open space. Bring it forward. How different the outside and the inside is. Outside is small, you're small. Temporary, gone in a flash. From the inside, big. Never going anywhere. And now when you are with others, you can pay attention to the simple fact you have their face instead of your own. Trading faces. See, you look here and you see Richard's face. But you know now I'm pointing at vast openness here. And I know there you are looking out of vast openness. This is a great mystery. You only experience the one where you are, but now you understand others are the one. The one is many. The one is talking to itself. My voice is in you. Where's it? Yes. True? Yes. And when we have two voices, it's two voices in one consciousness, right? Isn't that brilliant? Yeah. It's fun. See, it's a different way of listening. My voice is in you now. You could say this is your voice, not your voice as John or Mary. Your voice is the one. Just as my face is yours now. I don't have it. Now this is very practical, obviously, when you're with friends or enemies, face to no face. Or when you're driving, you're still and the scenery moves. You put your foot on the pedal and the scenery goes faster. Now this is not that hard to get into the habit of being aware of in our lives. And the little experiments I've taken you through are ways of reminding yourself. Say, well, what was all that about? How do I find my true nature? What do I have to do to rediscover that transparency, that clarity, that weightlessness? What do I have to do? How do I get back there, you see? Well, look for your face. But it doesn't feel wow. Okay, it is actually basically a neutral experience. And this is its great advantage, because it's available when you don't feel wow. And really it's getting a bit of confidence in your own experience. So in desperate measure, you can just point. How do I get back to that weightlessness, you see, when I'm feeling so heavy and dark? There it is, you see. Not dependent on changing your mood or changing your behavior, because it's just what you are. And then keep coming back, you see, and you'll get more and more into the habit until very quickly, probably, it'll just be kind of default. So what other ways are there? Well, when you're with someone, notice its face to no face. Now, this is a very powerful thing. When you're with a baby like we were yesterday, it's broadcasting openness. Is it, I'm going to broadcast openness today? No. There's nothing in the way. It's just, it infects everyone around him. See. And you look at, there's a exercise, an experiment we do where you look in a tube, a cardboard tube about this long at another person. So it's quite intense, but it really cuts out the rest of the room and you just see the face, and it makes it very, very clear it's face to no face. See? So there's nothing in the way, see. I did it with the baby. And the baby is at the other end of the tube, little face just going. Infectious, you see, giving me total permission not to have a face myself, right? To have his face. See, I think I can hear him. Someone, anyway. Yes, I know. You see, you think it knows what it's going to say, or where that voice comes from. It comes out of nothing. Your true nature, you start to enjoy and experiment with your voice coming out of nothing. It's creative, see. Or your life coming out of nothing. See? So it takes the cork out of the bottle. Now, just as when you're with the baby, it's sort of infectious, you see. Now you're seeing this faceless openness, see. And you're with others, and you're noticing it. I'm sure they'll feel it. Everyone recognizes it. See? Now when you're with others, it kind of goes viral. This is a very practical resource. See, it's available now. It's not dependent on confirmation. You see, you seeing your no face now is not dependent on anyone else confirming it. It's a private thing. But it's a private thing that includes everything. Your breathing is arising in it. Your thoughts are arising in it. Oh, here's another little practical thing about it, you see. It is stress-free. So you can experience this. Hold your hand out, your arm out. You see, look down your arm at your hand. You see your arm disappears around shoulder, into nothing. And your arm comes out of nothing from the first person point of view, you see. And you can obviously feel your hand out there. Now and you're looking from the space here at your hand. The transparency at the colours there. Now make your hand into a fist, tense it, you see. So your hand's got tense. Does the space get tense? Not in my experience, not tense at all. Now relax, see. It is tension-free, your true nature. This gets tense, you see, but the space in which it's happening, my body, doesn't get tense. Say, well, I tried that, I didn't get rid of my tension. It places your tension, you see. It's there, not here. You're looking at your tension, your problems, your stress, from a stress-free place. Find out if that is helpful. It is. To have this refuge at your center, which is stress-free. It is. See? So draw on it. Don't overlook it. If it doesn't give you the results you think you should get straight away, see, welcome to the world. It's going to give you something that you didn't expect, which I think in our hearts is what we want. See, we don't want really to know what our life is going to be, and we do want a bit of an adventure, maybe not too much, but the one wants an adventure, is on an adventure. This present moment is arising in the single eye. See, magically. Do you know how? I don't. Do you know exactly what's going to happen next? I don't. But it's not, in a funny kind of way, it's not external, is it? It's internal. It's within you. I'm not in this room is in me. I am not in this body is in me. So I now know that you're not in that body for you. Your body's in you. The room is in you. The world is in you. The stars are in you. You are so wealthy. You know where to look? No excuse. It's a very wise place. I mean, you can't really say anything about it. It's very mysterious, your true nature. See, where did it come from? How did it come to be? How did you come to be, really? No answer, you see. Magic. You see, you are magic. You are. Your true nature is magic. It's a mystery. But it is real beyond compare. You see, things you can say, well, that's more real than that. See, this scene is more real than a film. You can compare them. See? Or, I don't know, I might be dreaming now. This may be a dream. How do I know? I might be at home dreaming. See? So I can't be 100% sure of the details. But what I am 100% sure of is that I am. This is self-evident. Being is self-evident. I can't say what I am with any certainty, but that I am is self-evident. This is the greatest treasure, your being. So, well, how can you be sure of that, Richard? I can't prove it. It's a completely private thing. But I see it, I am it, see. This is the great treasure we all have, we all are. It's not in time, is it? You see, you look out at the face of the clock and it's 11:30 or something. See? But what time is it here? I find no time here. Face to no face, time to no time. You see, you look at the clock and you see the hands going round. Time and change go together. See, the hands mark out the passage of time. Now look here, any change? No change here. No time. What I can say is that this nothing is always full of something, undivided. But what it's full of is always changing, the details. But now you see, we are awake to and enjoying our fundamental nature, which is unchanging yet full of change. We are now aware of this fundamental openness, awareness. No words fit it. You would say, there's nothing there, or it's absolutely rock solid. See? It's not a feeling. Even the feeling of stability comes and goes in that mystery. See, notice you're not in this room from your point of view. This room is in you. You don't see the wall behind you. Not only do you not see your head, you don't see your back, you don't see the wall behind you. It's just wide open. Just wide open. You're looking into the room, as it were, from this vast, boundless clarity. See, and it takes no effort, really. It's completely effortless. It's light. It's already on. You don't have to turn it on. It's already on. Anything anyone wants to share about this? Ah.
I have a question about consciousness. The distinction between awareness and consciousness and unconsciousness. In meditation,
the distinction between awareness and consciousness.
And unconsciousness.
And unconsciousness.
As we go through meditation practices sometimes, there's an interval or space between awareness and then a complete lack of awareness, almost a sense of consciousness in this expansiveness that you've described. Between reality and unreality, between existence and non-existence, between self and non-self. So, from the sense of expansiveness as you've described it, how do we, as sentient beings, so close to consciousness, how can we peacefully, actively accept the fact that we are indeed partly unconsciousness, or unconscious? I know this is confusing, but it's an enigma for me.
Yes, the one likes enigmas. You see, the one likes puzzles. That's life, you see. But let me also put another view on that, is you have the experience, I say, 100% non-verbally. Now, how you think about it is unique to you, probably, and your words will mean different things to my words. So if you use consciousness or awareness, which is it? Is it consciousness or awareness? Up to you. That's one thought, that it is non-verbal. So this frees us to play with words and to think about it in different ways. So I don't myself really think there is one way to think about it, unconsciousness, consciousness. There's different ways of exploring this mystery. See, so that means that we don't worry, I find, don't worry too much, really. It's more like poetry.
And the descriptors seem to be so inadequate to the experience.
Yes, it is. But you see, you've got the experience. So the fact that your words are inadequate is okay. Because you're not trying to define it. No. I mean, here's a kind of funny thought about unconsciousness, you see. Is that when I go to sleep at night, someone might say, well, Richard, you went unconscious for 8 hours, see, and then you opened your eyes and, see, and we could, you went unconscious, see. So that's the external observation of me, you see. But I say, privately, I'm the one, you see. And I go into bed, you see, and I'm looking at this open space, and I close my eyes, and it's dark, and there's breathing going on in this space, and then the next moment, without a break, it's morning. No break. I never went unconscious. It's just the scene changed radically in a flash. The one never goes to sleep. The one is never unconscious. But, you see, there's just one way of thinking about it. You might then say, but, you know, it seems like I forget I'm the one. Oh, well, that's really interesting that the one can forget it's the one. That's smart, you see. You see it from the other way around. You say, well, that isn't, you know, anything gone wrong. That's really an amazing trick. And you see, the thing about forgetting who you are, the great thing about it is that, you know, hopefully you remember. And then you go, oh! Whereas if you'd never forgotten, you wouldn't have that, oh, God, I forgot about it again, you see. I forgot, I've identified with the one in the mirror. Oh, well, that's pretty smart though, isn't it? You know, I mean, that's an amazing rhythm going on, you see. And then another way of thinking about it is this rhythm of remembering and forgetting goes on in the unchanging space. So, am I trying to just have one end of the rhythm, always remembering, and get rid of the forgetting bit? You know, it's like breathing. But it's going on in this mystery, your true nature. You see. So actually nothing's gone wrong. So you relax, you see. You're like, this is the natural kind of unfolding.
I feel a lot better now, thank you.
Oh, phew! Thank God. I was getting worried then. You see, when you drink, privately you pour the water into nothing. And then the room tastes. And this is communion, you see. Something, matter, becomes spirit. That's communion. When you eat, every meal is Holy Communion. Because this simple water, you see, becomes the one. Amazing. Is someone else going to say something?
Yes. How would you teach this? I feel like I'm just getting a glimmer through a door slightly open. How do you teach this to someone who is blind?
Oh, well, we've got a good article on the website, which is headless.org, under experiments called In Seeing Experiments for the Blind, which is written by a guy who is blind. And I recently was in touch with him again. He's written a book. But he actually went blind, and so he remembers seeing. And so he developed the experiments for people who are blind. Now the main, you see, we did a closed eye thing, so that's the basis of it. But in his way of thinking about it, he kind of highlighted this two-way attention gesture, which is a visual thing. So it's face to no face. It's very accurate and immediate and simple and effective. It is a breakthrough. It's a fantastic thing. Two ways, see? So then he expanded that into non-seeing experiments. So the blind person is listening to the sound. Turn your attention around to the hearer and you don't hear anything. Or you feel the sensation, you see, and you think there's somebody sensing that. But turn your attention around and it's happening in the space. See? So it's actually, he takes the view, it's easier to share it with blind people.
Thank you.
Now, this gentleman, I think. Were you wanting to say something? Yeah, here's the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you. It appears that ignorance, it's in a lot of text and books, that ignorance is caused by the illusory union between the seer and the seen, and it appears that we're talking here today about that. So the question being is, who is the seer and who is the seen?
Yes. So again, I would say, you see, the great thing is this is a non-verbal experience. And it is absolutely obvious. Now, so the answer is essentially non-verbal. And you've got it, you see. But now that frees us to answer that in 1,000 different ways. There isn't one answer. So some people say, oh, there isn't a seer. See, all right.
Well, you're the seer.
What?
You're the seer.
There is a seer.
I'm a seer. Yes.
Yeah, you see, now you answered it in a different way. Brilliant.
Well, sure.
You see, so there are different ways. You see, if I say, no, there isn't, and you say there is, we're in an argument. But if I fully accept, I've got the experience 100%, and so do you, because it's so simple, you can't see your head. You say, well, no, I haven't got the experience, I haven't got it. I say, I think you're saying you haven't got a feeling, but can you see your head? I say, well, no, I can't see my head. I say, well, that's it. You see, really? Yes. You see, so I say, you've got it. I can be as sure as anything that you've got it. So now we're not, has he got it? Has he not got it? Have I got it? Have I not got it? No, we've both got it. Now we're thinking about it in different ways and we can relax. And you see, I say, there's no seer. See, and you say, yeah, no, there is. And I say, okay, let's look at it from that point of view. I want to learn,
Well, so that's the whole point, is that it's not if there's a seer and if there's a seen, it's that the idea that there is a seer in the seen, it's an illusion that we carry with us through life that
that's
creates
an interesting
separateness.
point of view.
Right. So we could talk all day, right?
Yeah, I've got a plane to catch. You see, what? Yeah, and two voices in one consciousness. I'm talking with myself. I mean. Someone else? Oh, we've got Barney.
Hi, Richard. Yesterday at your workshop, when I was speaking through the mic, I was hearing two voices. The voice in my head that I thought was my voice. And then I heard it through the speakers. And the very first thing I felt in a split second was I became self-conscious. And then second to that I felt was I was conscious of being self-conscious. And it started becoming a series of managing, I wouldn't say managing, but just feeling tertiary, and then more consciousness started coming out. And I felt that I was getting into a trap of everyday consciousness. Then there was a different part of me that popped from that. I think I call it the grand consciousness, which is, it started telling me, oh, you got a runaway train. So when I got those two things appearing, I asked myself, what I'm getting from this workshop is to have one foot in the formless and one foot in the form.
Understood. Very fantastic.
Thank you for the workshop.
Yes, Plum, yes. And some of us, and me included, think when self-consciousness comes up, and then it comes up that you're conscious of being self-conscious, and then it runs away, oh my God, what am I doing wrong now? This is normal. It does not affect the space, the grand consciousness, right? You see. And it happens, you see. And not surprising, is it, that it would? And there's an enormous amount to learn and discover. Someone else, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Something I've been playing with for a while too is kind of dropping this obsession with things arriving through this thing at all. And hearing and seeing and feeling through my back body, or pretending I'm oriented down here so the bottom of my body is actually seen and so like the baby, I could feel the baby here.
Oh yeah.
And actually I have to admit to you that when my hand disappeared, the sensation in my face was so strong that it was actually a little bit boring having the hand disappear, because this seeing thing just didn't seem very reliable or even interesting, I must say, because this sensation was all over the place, but it wasn't necessarily my sensation because I was feeling the baby. So that's the baby, that's not
Understood.
me. So
I know, yes.
it's fun. It is fun.
Yes, it is. It's fantastic. One thing about distance, see, whether it's seeing or hearing or sensing anything, is, see, you can measure across the view, and you can measure down, but there's nothing to measure from this way. See, because when you look out, if you had a ruler, if you were to measure this way, it goes to a point. See, there's no distance between something and nothing. There's no dividing line. Or between the sound and awareness. No, you could say it's there or here. You can't pin it down. See, so I say, everything's there or everything's here. There's no distance. And that you can measure that. See? I measure across. I measure there. But now say I want to measure between me and the door. I put one end on the door and swing it round, and the line completely goes to a point. And there's nowhere to put it. No distance. The sound of the baby is here. You're big, you see. You're big. You include everything in your being.
Hi, Richard. Yesterday at the workshop, we did an exercise that was quite fascinating from this point of view of awareness. The exercise was when we were doing the dancing, where we were just touching hands, and we closed our eyes. So in my perception, all there was a sensation floating in darkness, and we did this for a while. I completely forgot who my partner was. And then when he told us to open our eyes, I was surprised. Boom, there she is. Like magic, this person appeared, because for a while my perception, my reality was the sensation of the two hands touching, dancing in darkness. And then when the eyes opened, there was this person there. That, though we saw each other before we started the exercise, during the exercise, my reality or my perception was just that sensation. And then like magic, that person appeared, and I was like, kind of like amazed.
I understand, yes, beautiful, thank you. Being who you are consciously like this is very physical. It's not just seeing, it's every sense, very physical. And its implications and applications and its benefits unfold every day, every hour, every minute really. The experience is simple, but how it benefits you is blessing on blessing. I mean, sometimes the blessings come as difficulties, but out of them come, something. But each moment is new, and you're not resting on. It's not like you're resting on something you've learned here. It's not knowing, completely open and not knowing, and then you look from this complete mystery that you are. It's not hidden. It's not dark. It's open, light, clear, into this present moment, including all the sensations and feelings and thoughts that are part of this whole situation. See. And it's evolving. This moment now is just fresh, new, evolving. And new insights flow. Insights come and go. There's a rhythm again. You get one, and then it fades. It has to fade before the next comes, you see. So you begin to recognize, okay, it's going. That's making way for the next one, or whatever. Something like that. But it is never-endingly creative. Never-endingly creative. I mean, I just go, that is just fantastic. You found El Dorado, or you found the fountain of everlasting life, really. You found the Philosopher's Stone. All these images are about you. They're about who you are. It is so astonishingly smart. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. You think, what are you doing now? Come on. But, given a little time and patience, you say, now I see. Or sometimes you think, all right, look, if you're trying to teach me a lesson here, can't you do it in a better way? This is particularly painful. I don't want this one. Can we try it another way? You're not listening. It's wild, you see. It's not domesticated, it's wild. It's wild. Now this is who we are. It's not somewhere over there, it's nearer than near. It's your being. So to live one's life with the tap on, with the cork out, you want an adventure? You want a secret, see? You want to be powerful, in a way. See? Do you want that inner knowing, see, that is not dependent on anything? That's you, see. Do you want to be fabulously wealthy? Do you want to be fabulously creative? Do you want to be just amazingly intimate with everyone and everything? You see, without trying. You are. There's no distance. See, everyone's face is your own. This the self-consciousness bit, growing up is about becoming self-conscious, which is seeing yourself from the point of view of others, because you can't see yourself directly. So you kind of go out and imagine how others see you, because you can't see it directly. So through language, and you look in the mirror and you kind of construct that here. That self-consciousness, you never are self-conscious here, but you build up this construct, and it's very powerful, and it is necessary. It's the ticket for the game, for social life, you see, for life. To be aware of yourself, your human self. And, in childhood, this is very exciting. You finding out who you are and you're joining in the game. And adulthood, you take responsibility, but wow, it has a high cost in separation, and it stifles us, and we get kind of restricted, and we daren't even speak in public sometimes, because we're so afraid of what people think, and are you going to make a mistake? And as a child, you just see what happens, see what comes out, just make it up as you go along. But by the time we're adults, we think, we're just put in a box and can't hardly move until we die. See, and we know we're not fulfilling ourselves really. Now when you see this, now you kind of something begins to change. It takes time, see, but what doesn't take time is seeing your true self, which is freedom. See. Now stay with that and find out how that heals you at other levels. Never fully, but find out how that blesses you. In terms of that self-consciousness, you see, I'm conscious now. I'm looking out at nothing, and I'm speaking to all of you guys. But what I'm doing is just seeing I'm not here for me. But I know I am for you, so, it's different from the baby. But now that, does that free you to express yourself, to be yourself? Yes. In 1,000 ways. Is it physically good for you? Yeah, to feel big. I'm as big as the room. I'm as big as the universe. Everything is inside me. It's not just a visual thing. It's just... One feels big. My sensations now merge with the walls in a way. How big am I? How big is the field of sensation? It's just big. See, where do I end and the world begins? Nowhere. The baby's sound is in me. Everyone, see, it's in me. Now, is that good for you physically, mentally? Of course, of course. Does it perfect you? No. It allows an unfolding that isn't allowed when we are, kind of caught up only in what we look like. What a freedom to find you're not what you look like to you. You're not the one in the mirror to you. You understand, you act as if, but privately you're not. See? Not dependent on how you behave, I still make mistakes all day long, But it's okay. It's okay, because this one doesn't. See? And I understand. We're human, see? Well, we're coming up to noon. And a pleasure to share with you this freedom and this our true nature. We are many and we are one. See, one consciousness, many expressions. And a pleasure to have your faces, to be you. Thanks again for Robert and the community for having me. A delight to be you. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Please, let's make a big circle, and the kids will come in and we'll do our little circle in close. If you'd like to participate in the inner circle and be close to blowing out the candle and having your wish come true, come and join us. Oh, they all left? Oh, the kids left. Well, in which case, I'm going to invite a few people to come and sit with me around the candle, because somebody has to blow it out. So come on in. Oh, and so
This is fun.
it's perfect, right? Hey, Richard, you should come in the inner circle here. Come on in. It's a privilege, right? This is oh, here we go. Yay! Oh, the star of yesterday. All right, please find a hand to hold. Find a hand to hold. And I'm going to have an elbow because, I got a foot, a calf and a knee. Good. So that which is awake notices, there's contact here. And there's that which takes itself to be a person beside me. So why don't I use this moment to wish her or him well? Give that hand on your left a little squeeze. What would be your most extraordinary, generous wish? What would you wish for this person? And of course, in creating that thought, and that thought emerging in consciousness, it's yours. And then to the person on your right. These minds are capable of thinking such crazy things, such out of control, conditioned things. Somehow we can bring out of the infinite vastness a beautiful wish, a beautiful blessing. May you go headless often. And now to everyone in this room, and to everyone in this particular little city on the west coast of this continent, and then all the cities on this continent. And not to forget all of our brothers and sisters of the air, the earth, and the waters that don't live in cities, that live everywhere and all over the planet. In the deepest oceans, in the highest mountains. In this great Sangha, this great community of life. May all beings share in the merits of our practice. And may we remember that which we really are. And now I always ask, who's going to sing? And I think it's you guys.
Sing together, Misty? Okay. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And then one or two grown-ups will put their hand on the table, even though it now has 6 legs. And then you have to get closer, kids, if you're going to blow. And you think of your greatest, deepest wish, and you have to wait for the count. It's hard, remember? 1, 2, 3, blow. Yes, we did it. Thank you, dear friends who joined us out on the net today and in the future. And thank you all for coming. Please come and join us for some coffee, tea, goodies, and being together. And thank you again, dear Richard, for coming to play with us. Great job, everybody. Yay!